You ever wonder why you can shoot great with one frame but not with another? Well, fork width might be the reason. We're going to explore this today, so stick around. All right, let's go have a look. All right, we just took 3 shots with a 90mm frame. So we have 2 that are pretty much the exact same height. One is maybe a ½ centimeter higher than the other. The other one was a little bit low, but that could have been from a slight movement on my release. Sorry guys, I shoot 90mm frames almost exclusively. I sometimes go a little bit below or a tiny little bit above, but there's a reason for that. Now, I want to explore this today on how changing your frame size may actually affect your shooting later on down the road. So basically what we're going to do is I took my first 3 shots like I showed you just before with a 90mm frame. Now we're going to shoot one with a slightly bigger and one with a slightly smaller frame, and we'll see what the difference is. And then we'll go to a really big frame and see what the difference is. Yes, there are different bands and different pouches and all that stuff that's on these things, but it still holds true to how it will shoot and how it will affect if you maintain your same anchor point at all points or all times. So I'm going to basically use the fork tip on every single shot as my reference point, and my anchor point's always going to be my thumbnail on the point of my cheekbone here. And we're going to take all these shots and we're going to see how it's going to affect the height. Now, I'm not going to pay too much attention to the left and to the right. I may go a little bit farther left or I may go a little bit farther right just so it's clear on the shot, but we're still going to be aiming right at the center of this this red dot, basically to make our aim. I may use the 9 or the 8, but in the end, we're going to see how high or how low these balls are going to fly. Just a quick note about anchor points, especially for people who are just starting out. I really don't think it's a good idea to be changing your anchor point depending on the frame you're shooting all the time. It may cause some inconsistency problems. You may be starting to shoot and then, you know, getting used to this one, but no, and now it's over here, so now you're shooting more left, but now it's over here, now you're shooting more right. It can cause you all kinds of problems. In the beginning, you're better off to find a frame, shoot some paper, find a frame where when you put your fork tip on, it's very close to where it lands, and then you can make small adjustments in your reference point to be able to make your aim. Just my opinion. There's other people who don't think it's an issue by moving around your anchor point. That's totally up to them. I'm going to show you what I do at the end of this video when I'm adjusting for frame widths. So just to show you real quick what we got going on here. We took our first 3 shots with this guy. This is the prime fork Beagle custom that I have. It's a 90mm fork. We've got this guy here, which is an 87. This is the PFX2. This guy is very, very close to this, but I do have to make an adjustment when shooting with that frame. This guy here is, I can't even remember what this thing is called. It's one of Gamekeeper John's kits. I made this guy, and it's got a 110 millimeter fork width on this thing. It's actually really, really wide. It's the biggest frame that I have. Then I've got this guy. This is the I can't remember what it's called, the Wasp Mustang or something like that. Anyway, great little frame, but it's only 85mm wide, which is quite small. It's on the small end for me, which makes it a little difficult. And then we got the Evo. Everybody knows about the Evo, 95mm fork width, and it's a great little shooter. But also just outside of my sweet spot, a little bit on the big side, so I have to make an adjustment for this one as well. So let's go ahead and take a couple of shots. I guess we'll start off with the big boy first, and we'll take a shot with that and see where it goes. And keep in mind, I am going to keep using the same anchor point all the time. Thumbnail on the cheekbone. All right, we can have a look, but I don't even think it hit the target. That's how low it was. All right, you can see we still have the 3 beagle shots, and I hit right down here. I could feel the dent with my finger. Let's see if I can give you a look at that. Can you see it? That shot hit right down here because that fork width is way too high, way too big for my anchor point. Look at that. All right, this is the Wasp. We're gonna go ahead and take a shot with this. It's an 85 millimeter fork width. Let's go ahead and take a look, take a shot, see how it is. All right, so there's our other shot. It landed right here behind the hook hole. So that's our 90 millimeters, and that's a difference that 5 millimeters made on the small end. That's how much it made. Only a ½ centimeter gave us all this distance over 10 meters. Crazy, but that's how it is, guys. All right, now we're gonna take a shot with the Evo. The Evo is a 95 millimeter frame, so we're basically going one step, 1 full centimeter bigger in width, but only a ½ centimeter bigger than my sweet spot. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this one goes. Again, same anchor point, same reference point on the fork, and we're aiming still for the very center of that red dot on that target. So here it goes. This is our 3 shots of 90 millimeters. Pretty close, pretty decent grouping. We have an 85 millimeter shot up here. Look, take a look at the distance, which is 5 millimeters smaller than my sweet spot. And down here is a 95. I was a little bit off to the left of that one for some reason, but this is a 95. But look at the distance. That's 5 millimeter bigger. That's 5 millimeters smaller. It's almost identical from my sweet spot. Now, let's try one with 87 millimeters and see what happens. All right. PFX2, it's got an 87 millimeter fork width. Let's go ahead and take a shot with this guy, and we'll see how everything lands up in the end. We should be shooting a little bit high, considering. Let's see how it goes. All right, we dropped our other shot about a centimeter higher than this guy for some reason. We're only 2 centimeters off our sweet spot, but as a centimeter higher than my regular shot, which is not so bad. I am trying to aim here, but if I raised up it a little bit or came down a little bit on my shot, I don't know, but this shot should be higher. So we're just going to try one more to confirm that. All right, so I put this shot over to the right just so we can get a clearer shot, because I thought maybe we might land back in the same hole again, but we are slightly higher than the other one, but pretty close. So 87, 90, anywhere in that range of fork width seems to be one that's going to be great for my anchor point. Now, what do I do to try to drop a shot in here with, like, say, a 95 millimeter fork width? Let's take a look. So what does this mean if you actually see online a frame that you really like and you want to try out, but it's a bit wider or a bit shorter than what you're used to? Well, I'll show you what the difference is. We're going to go ahead and take a shot with this Evo. Same distance, same anchor point, but we're going to have to change our reference point on the fork a little bit. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a shot. We're going to go take a look at it where it landed, and then I'm going to talk to you and show you basically what I've done to make my shot land where I needed it to. Let's take a look. All right, now you can see our height, which is basically what our issue was by changing the fork size. We dropped that height. We actually hit the 9. I was actually aiming here, and I pulled it off to the right a little bit, to the left again for some reason. I'm going to take one more shot just to see what happens, but we've adjusted the height issue, so that's something else. If it's hooking to the left, it's most likely that I'm actually pulling my arm a little bit to the end when I'm releasing. So I'm pulling my shot, as I would say. But let's see if we can. Let's take one more shot and see how that works. For 90 mil frames, I typically shoot using the corner of the fork. Now, shooting this 95 millimeter fork, I gotta raise that up just a little bit. I pop it up maybe, I don't know, maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch to be able to hit the center of that thing. And we were just off there. That could have been many things, but that's a fine-tuned deal. So if we're gonna end up using one of the smaller guys, like this wasp, instead of shooting off the tip, you're going to want to drop that down. So we're going to find our line, you're going to drop it down just a touch, and then you're going to take your shot, and that should land right in that center. Let's go ahead and try that. So right, guys, there you have it. I had to aim down here to make the shot come up to anywhere near that 40 mil spot. Now, we were a little bit off to the right, so be it. I was flip-flopping frames too much today, and it makes it a little difficult to remember how each one of them are going to react when I'm shooting. But in the end, what does this mean? Basically, it means it's especially for you guys who are just starting out, and you pick up one frame and you can't figure out why, there's a good chance it's the fork width. It's not working in relation to wherever your anchor point is. So if I decided to shoot my anchor point at the corner of my mouth while I was shooting, where all those shots landed today would have been all over the place. It would have been different reaction to everything compared to having the one here. Now, basically how I settled on my cheekbone with the 90mm frames, well, I went and I stood in front of a mirror, and I held my frame out and everything like that, and I checked to see if the bands were lining up even to my face, and that's where I started from it. And then I started shooting at paper targets to work out all the kinks. When I'm bringing different frames to you guys, and you know, even a 90mm frame and a 90mm frame may have a longer fork or a shorter fork, and all these things will make a difference. Once you find one and you settle in on something that's actually keeping you consistent and you're shooting all the time, don't change from it. Stay with it. Keep on going with that, keep on working it, and eventually you're going to be stacking shot on top of shot. Now, I'm telling you from experience, over the years, I haven't been shooting very long. It's just a little over a year, 2 years now, I think, somewhere around there. But shooting at a 40mm flipper, when I shoot consistently with the same frame, same band, same pouch, same ammo for a good couple of weeks, all of a sudden I'm stacking shot on top of shot. I can hit a 10cm flipper, or sorry, a 4cm flipper over and over and over again. I think my record so far is 13 hits consecutive, which is pretty damn good. I'm proud of that. But when I'm flipping back and forth with frames and bands and pouches and all this stuff all the time, it actually hurts my shooting. So for you guys to gain consistency in the beginning, find a fork width, find an ammo and a band set that you find good. It's got, you know, a decent pull, decent grip on the pouch. Shoot those exclusively for a long time, and you're gonna see your accuracy just shrink down to a tiny little spot in no time. Anyway, I hope this video helps somebody out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. It would be awesome if you could hit that like button and subscribe. That's all I gotta say, guys. You guys take care, get out and practice, stay safe, be good to each other. I'll see you again soon. I love you guys, you're freaking awesome. The most important takeaway from this video is consistency. There are so many variables while you're shooting. You know, your slingshot, your bands, your form, your release, your posture, everything. If you could eliminate your gear from the equation, always shoot the same stuff, the same frame, same ammo, same bands, then you only have to worry about your form. And your form is the most important thing of all. Once your form is the same and consistent all the time, you can work on your release. Your release is good, then you're just dropping shots and bullseyes all day long. I hope you guys found this video useful. I'll have some more for you in the future. You guys take care. See you again soon.